In the headlines, second meeting between Trade Union Congress and government on fuel subsidy removal ended without agreement. Kano shop owners count losses as thugs take over demolition of buildings. 35 killed, others injured as bandits attack Sokoto communities. And on the foreign scene, probe into Indian rail disaster begins as train services resume. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. Now the news in detail. Federal government's meeting on Sunday night with representatives of the Trade Union Congress at State House Abuja did not end in an agreement. The TUC came to the meeting with a list of demands which the federal government team said it would present to President Bola Tinubu. But President's advisor Dele Alake explained that a key demand which the president was positively inclined to was the issue of minimum wage. TUC President General Festus Osifo, however, urged government to show good faith by reverting pump price to status quo in the interim. Both sides have agreed to reconvene on Tuesday.
So the meeting we just concluded, we have detailed and marshaled out the list of our demands to them. So they also in turn told us that when they presented the items to us on Wednesday, we told them that we're going back to our principals. That they also need to touch base with the president so that we will convey this meeting again on Tuesday. So we've and topmost in our demand was clearly stated as well that for utmost good faith and in the interest of social dialogue, that they should revert back the pump price while discussion continues.
Oh, it's a list, but we are not going to be listing all of those things now. We are not going to. The most important is the minimum wage. That is increase of minimum wage. Because when this thing is removed, the argument of labor is that there is an immediate impact on the workers, on the purchasing power, because price of fuel has gone up. So that would necessarily reduce the purchasing power of the average worker. So the next thing of immediate consequence is to increase the purchasing power of the worker. And so that, to me and to all of us on this side, is a topmost priority on the list.
Barring any last-minute change, President Bola Tinubu is to meet with opposition National Assembly lawmakers-elect. The planned meeting, which is coming about a week before the inauguration of the 10th National Assembly, is scheduled to hold at the State House, Abuja. This was contained in an invitation letter dated Friday, June 2nd, 2023, and signed by the Permanent Secretary in the State House, Tijani Umar. While the president is to meet the senators-elect at 3 p.m., his meeting with the House of Representatives-elect is slated for 5 p.m. Umar asked the soon-to-be lawmakers to submit their names for security clearance. However, the details of the meeting are not clear, and it may not be unconnected to the process that will produce presiding officers of the incoming National Assembly. Earlier, the ruling All Progressives Congress nominated former Minister of Niger Delta Affairs Godswill Akpabio as Senate President and Senator representing Kano North Barrow Jibrin as his deputy. In the House, the party selected a lawmaker from Kaduna, Tajuddin Abbas, as Speaker and Benjamin Kalu as lawmaker from Imo as deputy. Demolition of buildings constructed or sold by the immediate past administration of Governor Abdullahi Ganduje, considered illegal by Governor Abba Kabir, is taking another dimension in Kano as youths suspected to be thugs are using the opportunity to loot valuables belonging to shop owners. Idris Jibrin has the detail.
Well, it's been exactly 7 days, 1 week, since Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf was sworn into office here in Kano State. Now, the latest victims of the governor's revolutions in terms of buildings that he says were constructed not in accordance with the law are the traders here in Kantunkwari Textile Market. Now, this shopping complex you are seeing is around close to the Kano Eid ground, which the state government says it wasn't constructed in accordance with the law, and therefore last night the governor led a demolition exercise here in this shopping complex. Now you can see all these shops from down there. This is the Eid ground, and all the shops down here, upward down to Ofarmata Gate, are to be demolished, and the governor has flagged off the demolition exercise. Now what you are seeing here, most of these people are traders trying to salvage what they can, and some of them are not even traders. You can see some of these boys, they are trying to get what they can so that they can go and sell it and make it small money. Now I've been talking to some people around this place who are very, very angry with the decision taken by the government, but meanwhile the government is saying that the decision is for the good of the people of Kano State, and that they are trying to clean the system because there are so many constructions that were done not in accordance with the law. And the intention of the state government is to ensure that it brings sanity in all the aspects of the state. But traders here are very angry. They believe that government shouldn't have done this because there are over 10,000 people who are trading here on daily basis. Now, as of today, they don't have what to eat. They don't have where to turn to because their means of livelihood is gone. Prior to this moment, if you come to this place, actually by this time, you will see the kind of businesses that are taking place here. But now, it is no more. Meanwhile, the state government says it will continue to carry out this demolition exercise within Kano State in the next coming days.
As Nigeria spent over $1 trillion to import iron and steel in the last 9 months, a group of concerned citizens want President Bola Tinubu to summon the political will and facilitate the lighting of the blast furnace of Ajaokuta Steel Complex as a sure way to take the country out of its current economic doldrum. The group gave the task at a news conference in Abuja. Trust TV's Shafi'u Suleiman reports.
65 years after its conception by the Tafawa Balewa administration in 1958, the Ajaokuta Steel Complex, which is at 98% completion stage, remains in limbo, despite having the capacity to provide 500,000 direct and indirect jobs. The conventional three-phase blast furnace technology mill, designed to produce a combined output of 6.5 million metric tons of steel products, the concerned citizens say is begging for political will to roll.
The only thing that has stopped that company from taking off is the political will. If the government decides that that company should start, it will start. I trust the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to do whatever it thinks possible and is good. As far as we are concerned, this removal of the oil subsidy is an eye-opener now to all of us, that the government is trying to plunge all the loopholes in government and make sure that we get the best out of it.
As the country searches for solutions to its myriad of economic and social challenges, the group says realizing the Ajaokuta Steel Complex will open business opportunities, improves foreign exchange earnings, and stimulates industrial revolution.
A fully operational upstream steel sector has the capacity to open up a floodgate of business opportunities that will support national index of the military and security power, improve foreign exchange earner, constitute a tool that is critical for job creation and industrial growth. Citizens view that all these are crucial for business retention and strong sources of tax and revenue to government.
Despite its capacity to produce the required about $2 billion worth of steel for the Kano Maradi standard gauge, political will to ignite the Ajaokuta rolling mill, the concerned citizens say, is needed to make the dream a reality. Shafi'u Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
One of the federal government college Borneo schoolgirls released by bandits recently, Farida Kaoje, has been hosted to a civic reception by the traditional ruler of Kaoje, Sedikim Bargun Kaoje, Mustafa Adamu Kaoje, in his palace. Farida and another student were the last students to be released by bandits leader Dogo Gide, who abducted them for over 2 years. The monarch said despite the harrowing experience Farida has gone through in the hands of the bandits, her release from captivity is worth celebrating. Mustafa Adamu said Farida is a princess and a daughter of an illustrious son. He commended the security agencies, individuals and retired Colonel Engiwa Umar for their efforts in ensuring safe return of Farida to their parents. Now, dozens of students of FGC Yauri abducted by bandits in June 2021 were released in batches after long stay in captivity. The remaining 2 students in captivity were released on May 25th this year. Community members of the Tangaza local government area of Sokoto State have been plunged into mourning following a raid by marauders suspected to be armed bandits who killed over 35 persons. According to locals, the bandits attacked 3 communities within the local government area, Raka, Rakadutse and Filingawa. However, the Sokoto State Police Command, in a statement on Monday by the Police Relations Officer, ASP Ahmed Rufai, said 30 residents were killed. Confirming the attacks by armed bandits, the police said the affected communities were Raka, Bilingawa, Rakadutse, Jaba, Dabagi and Tselewa villages, all in Tangaza local government area. Residents of Enugu State have defied the state government's directives on Monday's compulsory sit-at-home order issued by the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, as roads, schools, banks, markets and other public places were completely deserted. The state governor, Peter Mbah, had on June 1 declared no more sit-at-home in Enugu effective Monday, June 5th, asking individuals and corporate organizations to ensure full-scale business activities in the state. Mbah stated that his government would be ready to engage in dialogue with people who have genuine grievances so as to foster lasting peace and security in Enugu State, adding that the order dwindles creativity and productivity of the people. However, Channels Television reports that residents in the state are used to waking up to untimely death stories of those who may have defied the order in the past and may not want to risk their lives. It is, however, not clear if commercial activities will pick up before the end of day. Benue residents are full of expectations that a new government in the state was inaugurated on May 29. Jimmy Adzande reports that civil servants and pensioners are particularly hopeful that the new government will settle outstanding salaries not paid by former Governor Samuel Ortom. Take a look.
Expectations are high in Benue State for Governor Hyacinth Alia on issues of salaries and pensions.
Why the market is no go area for workers, and why the schools are no go area for workers, why the health sector is no go area for workers. We can on the whole say that the improvement over time is not enough, and the government need to do something and do it urgently to make workers cope. In recent time, it has been even worse because, like in Benue, workers are old, pensioners are old. The government keep saying there's not enough money to cater for this, and that's why it has been old. And so we want to say that those who are in positions of authority should think outside the box. Let them not be reliant on what comes from the Federation account. We can do better. We can generate funds within our own areas with superintendent and come up with something that we can increase the welfare of workers so that they can also live and live better in today's society.
Others are calling on the new government to prioritize the local government areas that have been shortchanged in the past. They feel the neglect of that tier is a major cause of insecurity and unemployment.
Because the local government is the nearest government to the rural area. A third tier of government is nearest to the people. And that's where we house a bulk of our population. And so during 1990s or 1990 towards 1992, we discovered that there was sharp development that was taking place because the local governments were autonomous. They could access their funds directly, and they were able to execute projects that were people-oriented without any shortcut from any state government. And as a Democrat, I totally and wholly subscribe to local government autonomy. let the federal government be given its office so that the people will benefit directly from their resources.
There is, however, hope that Governor Hyacinth Alia will change the narrative.
A lot of people are seeing the aspect of a reverend gentleman like Father Hyacinth Memalue coming to cleanse Benue State from the shackles of poverty, underdevelopment, and insecurity. Hope that everybody in Benue State is seeing and have known that he can do it. Everybody is driving to that direction, and I think nobody is left behind.
We have the new leadership of this country, both at the state and at the federal level. And so we are hopeful that the leaders who have chosen, or the leaders who have selected right now, or voted into offices right now, will come in so vigorously and look into the issues, especially bearing in mind that they are very conversant with the challenges on ground. And so we are very hopeful and trusting God that things will definitely change for them.
Residents are waiting to see how social crisis will be addressed going forward.
You're watching Trust News Update. Coming up after the break, we take a look at what to do to avoid grey hair. Do stay with us. Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. You're still watching Trust News Update, a recap of our top stories. We told you that second meeting between Trade Union Congress and government on fuel subsidy removal ended without an agreement. You also heard that Kano shop owners count losses as thugs take over demolition of buildings. Moving to other stories, Permanent Secretary, Federal Capital Territory Administration, Olushade Adeshola, says steps will be taken towards developing bicycle tracks within the Abuja metropolis. Adeshola made the expression in a statement by the Director, Information and Communication, FCT, Muhammad Saleh, in Abuja on Sunday. Adeshola spoke at the opening of the 2023 World Bicycle Day in Abuja. He said that bicycle tracks were already captured in the master plan of Abuja City, noting that the move will deepen the campaign to reduce the effect of climate change and carbon emissions. The Permanent Secretary described cycling as an enjoyable and physically beneficial sport which will be encouraged and promoted. Speaking, the Indian High Commissioner to Nigeria, Sri Balasubramanian, urged Nigerians to embrace cycling in the interest of good health and healthier environment. People develop gray hair at different stages of life. It could be genetic, advancement in age, or stress. A vast majority of people with gray hairs develop age-related graying, even while others is caused by some illness. Abdullahi Yamadi takes a look at what age people should begin to expect graying, causes of it, and if it can be prevented. His report.
As people get older, the pigment cells in their hair follicles gradually die, such that the strands of hair will no longer contain melanin and becomes transparent color, as in gray, silver, or white as it grows. Many people ask question that at what age do people begin to grow gray hair? Experts say people can begin to notice gray hair in life at their 30s. Some may even find theirs in late 20s. It is normal for one to have gray hair, especially women in their late 20s, as experts agreed that stress, genetic, and other factors can play a significant role.
The genetic, that is hereditary, which somebody will inherit it from his parent. A young person from 20 up to 30, he can experience gray hair due to hereditary. In old age, it's irreversible, but in diseases, especially deficiencies, if of that vitamins, as I said earlier, when you reverse it to the vitamins, good balanced diet, treatment, white hair can turn to black.
What do people think about going gray?
I thought generally speaking, when you see somebody with a gray hair, you will just say, that man is old.
People are looking at me as an elderly person, even though maybe my age has not reached to that,
A lot of people are not aware that gray hair can be caused by deficiencies in vitamin D3 and B12 and can be stopped or reduced by using micronutrients such as vitamin E, A, iron, copper, and zinc for healthy hair growth. In the same vein, there are also some home remedies to gray hair. Some food supplements are also suggested as natural hair growth enhancers. Eating right, living stress-free life, and exercising can also help in getting rid of gray hair, experts admitted.
Most of the security agents that I meet on the road, they respect me because of my gray hair. They either call me Ustaz, Malam, Baba, and what have you. I can even see somebody that I'm definitely sure he's older than me. But because of my gray hair, he will still call me Baba.
No, it keeps my prestige in the eyes of the public.
Hurhura wato wani abu ne wanda yake mai daraja gun Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
You see, gray hair is a blessing. God chooses people who He gives gray hairs.
Mutumin da ke da hurhura, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ya sanya masa wata irin daraja.
Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Away from Nigeria, India's official investigation into its deadliest rail crash in 20 years has begun after preliminary findings point to signal failure as the likely cause for a collision that killed at least 275 people and injured nearly 1,200. Disaster struck on Friday when a passenger train hit a stationary freight train, jumped the tracks and hit another passenger train passing in the opposite direction near the district of Balasore in the eastern state of Odisha. Following non-stop efforts to rescue survivors and clear and repair the track, passenger and freight trains resumed running over the section of the line on Sunday night. Trains rumbled past the debris of smashed carriages from Friday night's crash near Balasore. The railway department said the first train, a goods train loaded with coal, started 51 hours after the crash. It was not immediately clear if all the tracks had been fully repaired, with trains on Monday using only lines on one side. Calm has returned to the streets of Senegal's capital, Dakar, following 72 hours of violence. Clashes erupted on Thursday in the wake of the sentencing of opposition leader Ousmane Sonko to 2 years in jail. On Saturday, authorities say that 500 people had been arrested since Thursday. Supporters of Sonko and President Macky Sall have traded blame for the violence and deaths. The violence resulted in at least 16 deaths and more than 350 wounded. Sanko was not present at his trial and is yet to be taken into custody for his jail term, which is predicted to stoke further tensions. Moving on to sports, Victor Osimhen has won the Serie A Golden Boot for scoring the highest number of goals in the 2022-2023 campaign. The feat makes him the first African to scoop the prize. The Napoli star scored 26 goals in 32 matches, edging his closest rival, Inter Milan's Lautaro Martinez, to land the highly coveted Capocannoniere prize. Osimhen had already scored 25 goals before Napoli's Sunday game against Sampdoria. He then scored from the spot to add one more strike to his tally as his club won 2-0. The Nigerians' goals were instrumental as the club clinched their first league title in 33 years and their third overall. Earlier, the Super Eagles scooped the Best Striker award for the season for his efforts. Sunday's award comes after years of attempts by Africans to win the prize. While the continent's only Ballon d'Or winner, George Weah, played in Italy, he could not win it. Osimhen's compatriot, Simi Nwankwo, challenged for the Capocannoniere in the 2020-2021 campaign. He scored 20 league goals for Crotone, but finished 9 strikes behind eventual winner Cristiano Ronaldo. Cameroonian legend Samuel Eto'o appeared to be the closest to landing the going in the 2010-2011 season. He netted 21 league goals, which were 5 shy of Napoli's Edison Cavani's strikes and 7 behind the winner Antonio Di Natale of Udinese, who scored 28 goals. And with that, we've come to the end of Trust News Update. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Darshan Husseina Usman. Thanks for watching.